Okay, here we have one of our trusty Citroens. First thing I'm going to pick up on with this car is the shock absorbers. The shock absorbers, well, I suppose it's no surprise with the Citroen, but this car just bounces all over the place. It's almost like I'm trying to drive a car across a bouncy castle. It's bordering on ridiculous. It makes for a comfortable ride, I'll give you that, but if I had to do a swerve in this car now at 60 miles an hour, I think the car would counter-effect what I'm doing to such a degree that I just wouldn't be able to control the car. The car would be out of my control and would be dictated on which way it was bouncing. It almost feels like if I swerved in this car now, I'd literally bounce in the air. I mean, give it a bit of a wiggle test. Oh my god! I mean, it's like I'm on a boat at sea. What on earth are the manufacturers thinking making a car like that? But anyway, just letting you know how it is. Now, the instrument cluster is probably a more positive point. The centerpiece, which is the speedo, is illuminated in a fantastic fashion. It's very easy to read. Same with the rev counter. But unusually, the right-hand side, which is your fuel gauge, and the odometer, it's a different colour, and it has the complete opposite effect. But I do like this. It's stylish, and it's got like an Art Deco appearance to it, which is quite unusual. The entire dashboard actually is quite attractive. It's not a bad looking interior. The centre console, what lets this down is it's not illuminated, and I find that quite unusual. I mean, if I mess around with the buttons, obviously they're lighting up, but I'm toying with this fan now, and oh, there we go, my fault, I'm driving without my lights on. What an idiot. So ignore that. So basically it's quite a stylish dashboard, a little bit cheapy plastic there, but it does look good. This is the 5-speed manual, and I'd say the engine feels a little bit undersized. It does feel like it could do with something a bit more torquey. Something like a 1500 diesel, I think, would probably suit this car more with a turbo. Now, the rear view vision on the car is exceptional, very, very good. It's not obstructed in any way by anything. Now, believe me, that is rare. Usually the headrests take up most of the room, or a hanging seat belt, or a great big rear wind wipe. The side mirrors, on the other hand, now this is a little bit irritating with this car. They're so far down, and they're way, way back towards me, which just totally corrupts the experience of driving, because in order to look in your wing mirror you actually have to physically turn your head rather than just glance your eyes over. Now we're going to do a 0 to 60 test. 3, 2, 1, 0. The roads are dry, front wheel drive, thank goodness, otherwise we'd still be standing where we were. And at 60, well, that took a little while. In fact, it took so long until he ran out of road. So we're obviously not dealing with a road rocket here. Now these little cars, really what they're designed for is nipping around a town, nipping around the back streets, you know, but I wouldn't want to nip around in this car because it doesn't respond like it does. Big floaty suspension like this you'd expect on a nice big executive saloon. You don't want to be bouncing all over the place in a tiny little car like this. It just doesn't work. It's like a square peg in a round hole. Furthermore, I'm sitting here now and I've absolutely no idea where the end of the bonnet is, because the only thing I can see on the bonnet is one of the jets for the windscreen wash. As far as I know, that bonnet could be 30 feet long. That's a very poor design. You've got to have some idea where the front of the car is. I mean, otherwise how else can you park up? Citroen do some odd things like this in cars, and I think something like that is a crucial flaw. Now I'm just going to test the brakes on this car now. I'm not going to do an emergency stop, just a firm brake. 3, 2, 1. Well, I can't say those brakes are too good. One, the car felt like the back end was coming up as if it was going to jackknife, and it was pulling to the right at the back. Also, the brakes were very grippy and grabby. The ideal braking scenario is to be able to brake gradual pressure, and you can't do it with this car. It just suddenly bites. So I have to say that my impressions of this car are really not that great. It's got a lot of very poor driving attributes, and because of the braking, because of the shocks, the way this car bounces about, I would have to say I personally would not feel safe driving in this car, especially at speed on a motorway. The steering is responsive, but it feels like it's being diminished by the fact that the car bounces all over the place. I'm going to go around this roundabout now to see what this car's like on the corners, because I'm quite intrigued by this suspension, because the suspension is not designed for cornering, it's designed for comfort. And I'm going around the corners. Oh, it's leaning terrible. It's not good at all. In fact, I'm only doing 25 miles an hour, so if you were in the wet now, you'd be understeering all over the place, even when you're not driving enthusiastically. Right, well, to summarise, I'm afraid this car's a flunk. The brakes are awful. The shocks, suspension, very comfortable, but it doesn't complement the driving experience. So I'm going to have to give this one a low score, I'm afraid. I would urge anybody who's thinking about buying one of these to take one for a test drive. I personally don't think it's a good car. Obviously that's just an opinion. I hope I've given a good idea of why I think that. But there's better cars out there. This, when compared to like a BMW 1 Series or an Audi A3, doesn't even come close. I hate to say it, but this car is rubbish.